They say you cannot undo what's already been done, and some have learned that the hard way. Are some things worth fame, money, and proving power? Judge for yourself.
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin.
What is it like when you realize that you will spend your whole life behind bars and that you will never feel freedom again? Ask them. This is Konrad Schafer. This young man, who was now 18 years old, pleaded guilty to 2 charges of first-degree murder in January 2016.
Let's take you inside the Osceola County Courthouse where this hearing began shortly after 9 and ended a short while ago. Konrad Schafer, just 15, when the summer of 2013 delivered nearly 24 shootings in Kissimmee, St. Cloud, and other parts of Osceola County.
If you have any questions about the possible penalties you're facing.
Schafer might have received a sentence of 40 years in jail, but the judge instead gave him 2 terms of life in prison, one for each count of first-degree murder. He was only 15 when he was charged with the murders of David Guerrero, 17, who was on his way to catch a bus for work on June 26, 2013 in Kissimmee. A few days after the killing, Schafer and 3 of his friends, David Damas, Victoria Rios, and Juan Muriel, forced their way into Eric Rupnerier's Poinciana home, where the 22-year-old was shot and had his throat slit. The statements of the families hit hard for everyone in the courtroom, and the hardest was the statement of Eric Rupnerier's grandfather, Kripanan Ramnarain.
He was my helper to me and my wife. At this time, my family and I had no intention to forgive the guilty because of such a heinous and brutal crime that was done to my grandson, Eric Rupnerien.
He had a hard time accepting the sentence, realizing what he had done with his youth, but he accepted it without any aggressive behavior.
Schafer took the stand on his own behalf, pleading for leniency. His mother asked for mercy, and a chaplain and a counselor testified that Schafer is a changed man.
For a hearing on probable cause, Jacob Morgan, 17, of Rock Hill, South Carolina, appears in court. In connection with the death of his 14-month-old sibling, he is accused of murder and arson. He cried throughout the court process, but it didn't help him.
Keep that child towards the door of the bedroom. That is caused by likely something. It's a significant burn pattern, as he described it. It could have been alcohol, it could have been something else that gets consumed by the fire. But a significant
As the
burn
trial
pattern
went on,
showed
all
that
he could
there's-
do was pray to God for help. But could that actually help him in this situation?
That's an extreme recklessness.
He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. After the hearing, the judge could not restrain himself and angrily added to
I
that.
agree with the family. I hope you die in prison as well.
He couldn't hold back after the decision and comments, so he just burst into tears. Philip Chism was 14 years old when he raped and murdered his 24-year-old teacher, Colleen Ritzer, at Danvers High School and dumped her body behind the school. It all started from the moment when there was no trace of the killer. No one even suspected what would happen. He followed the teacher as she exited the classroom, and then he did the unthinkable. Security cameras caught him following her into the toilet. After the murder, he wanted to get rid of the professor's body. He found the solution in the trash can. He put it in the bin and headed behind the school to get rid of it. The police found him soon after with bloody clothes, so they put the pieces together. He pleaded not
This
guilty.
indictment. Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Counsel, you waive
The mother of the murdered professor made a heartbreaking statement.
Colleen matters. Colleen's life matters. Colleen is not a victim, body, or the deceased as she has been described throughout this trial. She is not the slain or murdered Danvers High School teacher as always portrayed in the media. Colleen was a caring and loving young woman, full of life and a beloved teacher.
After the hearing, the decision was made.
Murder of Colleen Ritzer and set a parole eligibility date of 25 years, the highest level our law allows.
He looked like he was not affected by
In
this.
imposing a sentence for the rape at a date in excess of the parole eligibility
And that he
date
knew what was
for
waiting
the
for him.
murder
While on the other hand, The mother of the murdered professor was overwhelmed by emotions because justice has been served. In the hatchet assassination of his great-grandmother in Sheboygan Falls, a 14-year-old boy was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole at the age of 50 in August 2013. This was his weapon of choice for that heinous crime. His behavior during the trial was extremely unusual. His emotions ranged from grieving to laughing. He gave his statement to the judge.
I'm a cold, heartless, careless killer. That's not.
He was led out of the courthouse in tears after the sentencing.
Instead of starting his freshman year in high school, 14-year-old Antonio Bearbeau will go to prison.
This is Dylan Schumaker. In March 2013, a jury determined that a 16-year-old defendant was convicted of second-degree murder after he admitted to killing a child who was only approximately 2 years old. He accepted his girlfriend's request to watch her child while she was at work, not understanding what type of responsibility that would be. He was distressed and unsure of what to do following the baby's loud cry, so he made the decision to silence her permanently. He couldn't disguise his feelings from the minute he walked into the courtroom and turned to the family of the infant that died, crying as he told them how much he loved that kid. He even made a statement.
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin. I loved him.
His lawyer tried to soften things up a bit for him.
Completely defenseless. That's a given.
But all of this was a cunning plan. On July 23, 2013, the court uncovered proof that he had contacted his mother from the holding facility where he was detained.
And that he's going to cry on purpose to try and lower his sentence.
That on July 23, 2013, in a phone call to your mother from the holding center, you stated, and I got a quote from the court reporter, "I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do..."
Expecting for a lenient punishment, thinking that the jury would feel sorry for him since he was a teenager, and that he would just pretend to cry in front of them. That did not work
I
out.
can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin.
Only at the end do you understand if some things are worth doing. In their case, when they see that they will spend their lives behind bars, I don't believe that it was worth it. I guess we are of the same opinion, only that they cannot turn back time to bypass such things. If you want more content like this, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.